The Atlanta Falcons won the toss. They received. That means they will be working into the wind here in the first quarter. You see the wind gusting up to 37 miles per hour. And Jim Mora, 43-year-old Jim Mora, the 12th head coach in Falcons history, set the single-season record as a rookie head coach with the total of 11 wins during the regular season. And no head coach in the history of the Eagles has won more games than Andy Reid. But what's been hanging over Reid in this Philadelphia Eagles group is getting past this round and into the Super Bowl. Who's going to Jacksonville? Glad you're with us. And catching it with his momentum, carrying him backward is Rossum, who had such a big week last weekend. Out to the 19, that is it. He was dropped immediately. Roderick Hood on the tackle, a 19-yard return, and Michael Vick, who didn't have to do much with his arm last week against the St. Louis Rams, but certainly did plenty with his legs, protected by this offensive line. Todd McClure is in the center of it all, making the offensive line calls. Backs and receivers, this was the best running team in the NFL this season. Warrick Dunn with a lot of T.J. Duckett mixed in. And they'll start in the shotgun. Vick gets to the edge. Doesn't get much. Picked up 2. Keith Adams on the stop. And we look at the defense for Philadelphia. Jim Johnson's crew. Jim Johnson, the most aggressive blitzer in the NFC. Up front, Kearse, Simon, Walker, and Burgess. They get Hollis Thomas back for the playoffs, and that's big when you play against a guy like Vick, to try to rotate in fresh defensive linemen. Trotter is such a difference maker at middle linebacker, and 3 Pro Bowlers in their very good secondary. 2nd and 8. Handoff is to Dunn. Dunn picks up 1. Keith Adams again. And it's Adams who's getting the start in place of the injured Mark Semino, a former Falcon. They'd love to have Semino out there, Troy, because of the speed he provides at linebacker against a guy like Vick, but Adams has been impressive lately.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, Keith Adams is actually a faster linebacker than what Mark Semino is, and he is outstanding in run defense. So a perfect substitution for Mark Semino going up against a team like the Falcons, who clearly rely on running the football.
3rd down and 7. Vick going to try and run for it. Dawkins was his first to get his hands on him. And out to the 25. Time for a punt from Atlanta. A gain of only 2. And Brian Dawkins, the Pro Bowl free safety, was the first to get his mitts on Michael Vick.
And that's going to be the key throughout this entire game. You see Michael Vick, he's looking to throw the ball to his left. Look at the lane that he's got to run. Typically, he's been able to outrun people to the sideline. Brian Dawkins attacked him and got him before he was able to get out in space.
And Dawkins barely moved in coverage. He just basically sat there and waited on Mike Vick.
Not easy to punt into the wind, and it just hits a wall. Chris Moore takes a good Atlanta bounce and gets down just inside the 40. So all things considered, that's about as good as Chris Moore is going to do. Starting from their own 39. McNabb throws, pretty pass, as he takes it just inside the Atlanta 49, a completion of 12 yards.
Well, here we are, and Todd Pinkston, when a corner is off and gives him a free release, as Jason Webster is doing, he's pretty good at pushing that corner off and then coming out of his route.
On first down, pressure on McNabb, and he'll step up and run. Penalty flag on the play as McNabb is brought down just shy of the 40. And we'll see who the penalty is against. The Eagles saying that it's against Atlanta. One thing Ed Donatel, who's the defensive coordinator for the Falcons, believes going into this game is that McNabb will run more.
Holding, 91, defense, 5-yard penalty from the end of the run, first down.
They get Brady Smith. That's another first down for Philadelphia. Guys, I thought that was interesting, though, that with all the pressure on McNabb and with those great legs and what he can do as a running back carrying the football. He thinks McNabb will run more today than he has all year.
And I agree, and I think he should. And I definitely think McNabb was trying to send a signal with that early run. Don't get too fancy with your pass rush, guys.
Westbrook touches it for the first time today, and he gets nothing. Let's look at the offense and the offensive line. The big story at the end of the day last week in their win over Minnesota was John Runyon hurting his right knee. He's okay. He's wearing a brace on that right knee, and he will have his hands full all day with Patrick Kearney. Pro Bowlers Trey Thomas on the left side. And as we said last week, the Vikings came in saying, where's Waldo, for Brian Westbrook, trying to find out where he is every time the Eagles break the huddle. No doubt the Falcons are doing the same.
Well, they won't have a hard time finding him right now. He's on the sidelines.
Just where they'd like him to be.
There's such an advantage for the Eagles working this direction with the wind in this first quarter. Screen pass, Perry, and what a good play coming up to make the stop is Brooking. That'll bring up 3rd down and long for Philadelphia as Perry picked up only 3.
You know, you just couldn't ask for more than what the Philadelphia Eagles defense did in that first drive. They needed the extra time with the wind here, and right now you have a huge 3rd down conversion because they really are going to have 2 quarters in this game in this direction with a very strong wind.
14th ranked defense during the regular season with the Atlanta Falcons. On 3rd down, over the middle, pass too high. And from this spot, you're looking at roughly a 50-yard field goal.
And when we've seen Donovan McNabb miss, it's generally early in the game and generally high, and that's exactly what happened to him there.
So I don't think there's any doubt that distance-wise, Akers, who's a strong kicker, Troy, anyway, can get it to or through the uprights. The question is, what's the wind going to do with it during its flight, with the wind straight at the back of Akers right here?
Well, and he's talked about it and the impact the wind has on his kicks, and even he is not exactly sure once the ball gets in flight what the wind may do.
Instead, they flip it. Lewis, and a great stop by this defense for Atlanta.
And once again, the Atlanta Falcons special teams come up absolutely huge. In the game last week against the St. Louis Rams, Joe DeCamillis' bunch basically won the football game along with the running game. They come right back with their first challenge in this one and make another huge play. Anybody else may have been caught off guard. They play it perfectly and turn the ball back over to their offense.
And probably a pretty good call by Andy Reid, recognizing the wind. What kind of impact would it have? If you don't make the field goal, you're given good field position back to Atlanta. Take a chance, and you still got Atlanta at least backed up a little bit.
It was the rookie D'Angelo Hall who crashed down and made the stop. On 4th and 7, Lewis got only 3, and a handoff is to Warrick Dunn, and a nice gain on 1st down of 9 yards. Michael Lewis on the stop.
Just like they did a week ago, the Atlanta Falcons are going to have to face a defense. Look at all the guys around the line of scrimmage. And yet with an Alex Gibbs coached offensive line, they can run it against a 9-man front, a 10-man front. It just doesn't matter. They think strength against strength. They are better and stronger than are the Philadelphia Eagles up front.
2nd down and 1. Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach for Atlanta. Handed off to Warrick Dunn, and Dunn gets it out to the 40. And it depends on the spot as to whether it's a 1st down or not. The official running in from this side of the field. It appears that it is enough for an Atlanta 1st down. It is.
And I think when you talk about the Atlanta Falcons and their running game and what Alex Gibbs does within that group, not an overly dominant group of players when you look at them individually, but collectively they play within this scheme exceptionally well. A big part of that is the cutback runs and getting people on the ground along the defensive line.
Gibbs will be like that on the sideline the entire game. Full of fire over there as Vick will put it up. Fires, and the pass is incomplete. That'll be pass interference. Des White down the field, and it was Sheldon Brown who bumped him in the back before the football got there.
Yeah, and they had him too. Des White does a real good job running the route. You're going to see him working against Sheldon Brown. They do it off of play action, reverse action in the backfield, but the ball gets held up.
24, defense, played to the back of the receiver. spot of the foul.
You can see right there the ball in flight. That's the impact that this wind is having on these throws.
And look at the job up front that Kevin Schaefer did against Javon Curse. That's going to be key all day long. If they can bootleg Mike Vick to his left side, they're going to have some big plays in this offense.
Wind is really picked up. A 19-yard penalty on Sheldon Brown. From the Philadelphia 41, they hand it to Dunn. Dunn gets it to the 40, picked up half a yard. First guy there, Hollis Thomas.
Boy, they crashed down hard on the right side that time. Michael Vick may start booting to his right.
On second down, Vick slings it to the fullback McCrary. Brought down by Adams, a gain of 3. Third long coming up.
You know, you talk about Keith Adams and his speed. Not a great cover guy, but as we saw right there, one of the reasons why the Eagles feel confident in their ability to defense this Atlanta offense is because they got great team speed. And Jim Johnson told us the teams that have had success against the Falcons, they've had great team speed and they're good tacklers. The Eagles feel they too have both of those qualities.
Third down and 7. Vick to his right. Looking for room to run. Throws it up for grabs, and the pass incomplete. Algie Crumpler was fighting for it, and Vick is having trouble getting up.
Well, Michael Vick's go-to guy is Algie Crumpler. They're tied in. He's the leading receiver on this team. First, you're going to see the pressure that Michael Vick gets under. They take a lick on him. Down the field, Jeremiah Trotter is going to be the one who's shadowing under Algie Crumpler. That's who Vick was looking for. He could not throw it on time. He tried to make an ill-advised pass late. Lucky that ball wasn't intercepted.
And now Moore again punting into the wind.
Wow.
And the wind throws it backward. And it takes a Philadelphia bounce this time. It checks up just inside the 30. Algie Crumpler, in essence, went back to his basketball days in North Carolina to knock that floating pass down out of the hand of Michael Vick. Vick appeared to be okay, heading back to the bench, and now McNabb wants to put it up. As all day, and finds a receiver, Westbrook. It's off his hands. Good throw by Donovan McNabb. Incomplete, however, and down to Chris Myers.
Yeah, moments ago, Michael Vick is shaking off the injury, appears to be okay. It could be overheard. One of the assistant coaches down here telling him, Mike, no need to put the ball, throw the ball up like that, especially against the wind. Wait till we have the wind with us to do that type of thing.
I'll tell you what, after seeing that punt, you realize that the Eagles have to take advantage of the wind that they now have at their back here in the first quarter. If they come out of this quarter without points, that's a win for the Atlanta defense.
That was an 8-yard punt, the last effort by Chris Moore. Eagles hand it to Westbrook. He goes nowhere. Brian Scott, the safety, came up and was the first one there.
And the one thing that we've seen so far out of the Atlanta Falcons defensively is that the Eagles can't run the ball against them. They have been very stout coming up, making plays in the backfield, and once again forcing a 3rd and long for Donovan McNabb. And Troy, you make a great point. If they come out of this first quarter with no points, it's a big win for the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, the other thing that we've seen with these secondary players now, the corners in particular, they are now starting to press these outside receivers.
3rd down and 10. Blitz coming. Eagles pick it up. McNabb throws it out of the reach.
That's a foul
Of his intended receiver, Lewis. There was coverage downfield by Christian Morton, an extra defensive back added to the active roster this week because of the injury to Kevin Mathis. And there is a flag down, however, it's on the near side of the field.
Boy, I tell you what, Freddie Mitchell.
Prior to the pass, illegal use of the hands. Hands in the face, 21, defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that's going to take care of it anyway, but Freddie Mitchell that time was running right down the slot, and maybe 20 yards down the field. He got jammed. There's the foul on the outside, hands to the face, even a little grab of the face mask there. Freddie Mitchell was fouled on the other side too, so at least so far in the bump and run coverage, Pinkston's coming out of that one okay.
So a first down for Philadelphia instead of a punt. On the incompletion, they hand to Westbrook. Westbrook got out of the reach of Brooking for a moment and gain of 4. You know, you're talking about a defense for the Atlanta Falcons, guys, that at Kansas City in a 56-10 loss in October allowed 8 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, and Arthur Blank took out a full-page ad apologizing to the fans after that, too.
Inside handoff on 2nd and 6 to Westbrook. Brian Westbrook is down to the 26. They'll mark him at the 25. 36-yard run for number 36 of the Eagles.
One of the things that you can always take advantage of with a pass rushing team, they like to get up the field. You get the double team underneath, you get the kick out block by Jermaine Mayberry, Artis Hicks with a good block, and it just pops wide open. And when you're trying to rush the passer all the time, sometimes you can just pop one in the running game.
36 yards, 40 here in this first quarter for Westbrook, and a first down at the Atlanta 25. McNabb with plenty of time, fires. L.J. Smith inside the 5.
This offensive line last week did a great job of giving Donovan McNabb protection, and it's continuing on into this game. Watch the time that he has to step up and survey the field. He looks to his second receiver. He comes back to the right. He's got L.J. Smith working shallow, Freddie Mitchell over the top. He had both guys. He decided to come underneath to L.J. Smith. L.J. Smith, a big factor in last week's game, makes a big play here today.
First and goal from the 4. Dorsey Levens stays on his feet and gets it to the 1. And now, with that second effort, touchdown.
Jermaine Mayberry at the left, at the right guard position is just going to simply turn his man out, Antoine Lake, on that one, and just create a huge hole up the middle for Dorsey Levens. This has been a very physical drive as the Eagles come back and just run the ball right at the Atlanta Falcons on this one.
What an effort by Levens to get it into the end zone. And Akers makes it 7-0. And for Philadelphia, their first touchdown in the last 129 minutes, 52 seconds of conference championship games.
Yeah, that goes back to the first quarter of the championship game 2 years ago when they hosted Tampa Bay. First possession of the game, they took the ball right down the field. Deuce Staley scored the touchdown. Last touchdown they had scored in championship play, of course, held to a field goal last year.
But remember, because the Falcons had moved the ball, if they had been able to get off an ordinary punt, the Eagles would have been backed up, but it was only an 8-yard punt. And in the second quarter, the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have to face that.
Rod Hood was the one in charge of keeping the ball upright as Akers kicks it to Rossum. And Allen Rossum hit that hole with a head of steam and gets it out to the 31. Hood on the tackle. A return of 28 yards.
One thing I really like about Jermaine Mayberry is not only does he get his block, but he turns his guy out of the hole to open it up for the fullback, Josh Perry, to come through and get a big block.
Yeah, and then on the other end, one of the key blocks, Freddie Mitchell going in motion on the play, and he'll take out Brady Smith, the defensive end there, which basically allowed Levens inside. Otherwise, Brady Smith's there to make that play.
Little Alex Gibbs medicine with a cut block on Brady Smith.
Hey, Freddie's more than just a receiver.
Oh, he's a lot more than just a receiver. You want to elaborate on that?
First 2 possessions last week for the Atlanta Falcons. They were up and down the field, 151 yards, 14 points today. Total of 19 yards. On first down, Vic keeps it and throws it away. Wind almost brought that ball back into play. Second down and 10 for Atlanta. Vick keeps it again, and he'll run it this time. He got to the edge, makes a move, and dives. A yard shy of a first down. The ball is out. But Des White was able to get back on top of it for Atlanta. That'll bring up 3rd down and 1.
And here's the guy who's really on a bind on this, and it's Derek Burgess, the defensive end, and he's right here. And what he's got to do is try to squeeze the cutback lane and at the same time be able to get back to the outside and make a play on Michael Vick. And quite frankly, you can't do both. You've got to make a decision, go upfield to contain Mike, and then hopefully you get help from the safety or linebacker to fill the gap.
3rd down and 1. Vick keeps it again. Steps up and flips over the head of Crumpler. It's intercepted, but penalty flags are down. Sheldon Brown with the interception. Out of bounds at the 35, but will check the marker. And this appears to be against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Prior to the pass, holding, 32, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Now you're going to see Algie Crumpler. Michael Lewis is the one who's covering Algie Crumpler right there when he turned him. That's what brought the flag.
And it erases the interception by Brown. It gives Atlanta a first down at their own 45.
And you've got to be careful as a quarterback when you're throwing into the wind and you're trying to throw touch passes and getting the ball up and down. You can't drive them enough in this wind. Instead, the wind will get a hold of them and they'll flutter and they'll hold up in the air. And that's when you get secondary players being able to come and make plays on balls.
Talking to Jim Mora, he wasn't concerned about Vick throwing with the wind or into the wind at all. I guarantee you he is now. It is howling here in Philadelphia. Handoff is to Dunn. And Warwick tries to cut it up, and he hit a wall. Jeremiah Trotter, Keith Adams, and what a difference Chris Collinsworth Trotter has made to this defense since taking over in week 9.
Yeah, it was kind of entertaining talking with Jeremiah Trotter when we said, how in the world did the Falcons run up all those yards last week against the St. Louis Rams? And his answer was, did you watch the Rams play? He said, I guarantee you they will not come out here and run the ball against us like they did a week ago.
2nd down and 8. More play action. Vick stops. Curse is now in his way. Javon Curse can't bring him down. Vick in the open field. A first down for Atlanta at the 40. Javon Curse was in that position of going one-on-one with Michael Vick, and Michael Vick blew right by him.
And the way that it started, Joe, it goes back again to Derek Burgess. He does a great job here of being able to get out and flatten Michael Vick out and keep him from getting outside. But then there's nobody else left on the backside. Javon Curse is the only guy there to maybe make a play, and he's unable to.
And Javon Curse told us he was going to take his shots at Mike Vick, trying to hit him hard. That time by coming so hard, he allowed Mike Vick to escape from him.
On first down, they hand it Dunn. Dunn gets to the edge, cuts it up, and down inside the 35 to the 33, a gain of 7. And with 1:23 and counting remaining in this first quarter, the Falcons can't wait for this quarter to be over to go back down to the other end of the field.
Yeah, and so far, I think they've got to feel pretty good about it. Obviously, the penalty which kept the Eagles' drive alive on the last series, but here they are moving the football, and if they're able to come away with points here going into the wind, of course, we're running out of time here in the first quarter, but they've weathered this first quarter and going into the wind very well.
2nd down and 3 with Duckett in the game. Duckett gets it, and the bigger back gets to the 31, picked up 2. And Jeremiah Trotter comes out stomping again.
Well, anytime the Falcons go to this zone play where basically they're just trying to get to the edge, Jeremiah Trotter is the guy. His favorite saying is, cut it back to your boy, send it back to your boy. Well, the boy was sitting there on that one and got a big shoulder full of T.J. Duckett. If they can stop that play, it helps them stop the cutback.
It's 3rd down and 1. Realize the Atlanta Falcons probably will have 2 downs to try to pick up the 1 going in this direction. 10 seconds and counting left in this first quarter. They hand to Duckett. Duckett doesn't get it.
Timeout, Philadelphia. That's the team's second charge timeout.
What a smart play by the Philadelphia Eagles as they spend a timeout.
Reset the game clock to 1 second.
And the interesting thing is, guys, they may spend a timeout and give Atlanta.
I don't know if it's a good decision.
Easier to go for it on fourth down.
I don't know. I think it was a good decision because if they had not called the timeout, the clock runs out. Now it's an easy decision to attempt a field goal and make it a 7-3 ball game. Now you've got to make a decision because I'm not sure. We were watching their kicker, and it is a extremely tough kick going into the wind from that place on the field. I think you're almost forced to go for it on fourth down.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in the end.
Right. I think it's a mistake because on the other end, give him a field goal. Who cares if he can make a kick into this open end of the stadium where that wind comes howling out of that one corner. Give them 3 points. We'll take the football back. If they hold them here, obviously it's tremendous for them, but you're also, if they're turning around and going the other way, looking at the possibility they're scoring a touchdown.
Well, yeah, that's right. Your argument is based on the Eagles not being able to stop them. Obviously, you don't call timeout if you don't think your defense will make the stop here.
I'm just saying I would rather them kick a 48-yard field goal in this kind of wind than give them a chance on a 4th and 1. Maybe it'll work out for them.
Duckett is the tailback. They hand it to Duckett, and T.J. Duckett has the first down. First down for Atlanta. Vick sets up a screen to the near side. It's Crumpler, and what a good open field tackle by Keith Adams, and we've said his name quite a few times already in this game.
And I really think Keith Adams has made a difference on this defense. You talk so much about Jeremiah Trotter coming in at the middle linebacker position. Well, Keith Adams, a guy they call the Bullet, and the Bullet got shot on that one. He came out and did a great job on Crumpler, who's a tremendous athlete at the tight end position, and he, just like he did on special teams all year long, came up and made a huge play.
The guy who was waived by the Dallas Cowboys. They were trying to make a roster maneuver, and the Eagles saw him, grabbed him, and what a difference he's already made today. Warrick Dunn is down to the 21. Got 2. Derek Burgess on the tackle. 3rd down for Atlanta.
And you take a look at Warrick Dunn, and Warrick's used to coming in here and playing the Eagles on the road in the playoffs. He played them a couple of times with Tampa Bay. He came in here 2 years ago and played him while he was with the Atlanta Falcons. Has not had much success against this Eagles defense. Coming in here today and hoping to have a better day, but so far the Eagles defensively have kept him bottled up.
3rd down and 5. That's Vick in motion, and they direct snap to Dunn, and Warrick Dunn has a first down inside the 15 to the 14.
Well, that's the same play they ran last week, but if I remember correctly, instead they threw it out to Michael Vick on the flank, and this time Warrick Dunn takes the direct snap and picks up a big first down. But this goes back to some of the things that Jim Mora did and saw when he was with the San Francisco 49ers. They had big runs on 3rd down situations, 3rd down and medium for first downs, and they came into this game thinking they could do the exact same thing.
How many sets of eyes in the Eagles defense do you think followed the body of Vick going in motion, and they run it to the other side with Dunn for the first down? From the 14, that's Crumpler. Michael Lewis can't bring him down immediately, and Crumpler is down to the 6. Picked up 8.
Yeah, that's one of the advantages that you get when you got a tight end like Algie Crumpler, and we're really seeing him all over the league right now with some of the other players, Tony Gonzalez and Antonio Gates, and they're in San Diego. And when you're able to split those type of guys out, you get a safety out there on them, because the Falcons believe that wherever they put Algie Crumpler, if they put anybody on him other than a corner, they feel it's to their advantage.
2nd down and 2. Duckett, first down. 1st and goal from the 2 for Atlanta.
They went right into the teeth of a blitz there. They're definitely coming on the outside, and Jim Morris said, we just don't care. It's one of the great things about being in an offense with Alex Gibbs has seen every different kind of front that you can throw at somebody. That time they came up and ran a safety blitz right into that run, and they just ran right by it.
Well, this is where the Eagles pride themselves, one of the best in the league at keeping people out of the end zone.
On 1st and goal, they hand to Duckett. Duckett runs into Jeremiah Trotter, Hollis Thomas, Keith Adams. 2nd and goal.
And I think one of the real keys when you're talking about goal line defense is being able to get into the running back's legs before he gets going. Watch T.J. Duckett as he hits the line, and immediately he's met in the middle by Jeremiah Trotter, and that's how you stop a big back from getting into the end zone.
That time Keenan Forney tried to cut Hollis Thomas, and he missed, and Thomas was able to make the play in the backfield.
Duckett lost a yard, 2nd and goal. They faked the toss, and that pass batted down. Michael Lewis got up and knocked it away. It'll be 3rd and goal.
And a good play there by Michael Lewis. He's the safety. He's the guy who spends a lot of his time down around the box, and he comes off the edge and just is able to get a hand on the ball and keep that one from being completed there to the fullback.
I'm going to bet Alex Gibbs did not like that call over there. I'm sure he would have liked to take 2 shots and try and pound this thing in the end zone. This is one of the top rushing teams in the NFL. Now they're 3rd and 2 and a long 2.
3rd down and goal. 16th play of the drive. Duckett is split out to the bottom of the screen. Vick with time. Michael Vick won't get there to the 5. He lost yardage. Hollis Thomas. Vick did all he could, but Thomas closed it down in the end.
Well, that's just great containment by everybody involved, not allowing Michael Vick to get outside. They're aggressive enough to make him move. They don't sit back and wait. Hollis Thomas, playing in his first NFC Championship game because of injury, steps up and makes a play here. Good job and good discipline by that defensive front.
Jim Johnson telling us he told his defense all week, don't get hyper. Stay where you're supposed to stay, make your plays, and stay within the defense. The Philadelphia Eagles during the regular season, their defense ended up ranked 10th. They gave up some yards, but they didn't give up a lot of points. They ended up tied for 2nd in the NFL in points allowed. And I guess it's only fitting that the 3 top teams in that category, points allowed, are still alive. You've got the Eagles, the New England, and Pittsburgh, who will meet later today across the state. J.R. Reed on the return for Philadelphia. The rookie from South Florida crosses the 25 and works his way out to the 28. Now it's the Eagles' turn to try their hand at working into this gusting wind. They lead Atlanta 7-3 in this NFC Championship. Starting at their own 28. McNabb steps up in a run and slide. They'll mark him at the 33, and we go back to that last defensive play by the Eagles.
And anytime you're down on the goal line against Mike Vick, you have to spy. This time the Eagles come up with 2 guys whose eyes are only on Mike Vick and everybody else as well, and they hold him in the box.
Yeah, and here's why Vick wasn't able to get the ball out. Algie Crumpler, clearly he's going to attract a lot of attention. You got Javon Curse dropping underneath him, as well as Michael Lewis double teaming him in the end zone.
2nd down and 4. They hand it to Levens. Dorsey Levens is running hard. Picks up 3. 3rd and 1 coming up. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, and a lot of high fives being passed around on the Eagles D. That group was jubilant about keeping Vick and company out of the end zone. Chris Collinsworth praised the Eagles' containment on Michael Vick, while defensive coordinator Jim Johnson did the very same thing. He knew the execution on that was perfect. Joe?
All right, Pam, thanks. 3rd down and 1 now for the Eagles offense.
I hate to belabor the point, but every time that the Eagles pick up a 1st down, about 3 minutes click off the clock for the Falcons with the win.
Levens has enough for a Philadelphia 1st down. Needed 1, got 2, and a fresh set for the Eagles. Kearney was the first guy to make contact with Levens for Atlanta.
You know, a lot of people have suggested that maybe Donovan McNabb should scramble a little bit more, but that's not really a part of his game. I think the reason he hasn't has been more his development within this offense, as well as his wide receivers doing a much better job of getting open than maybe they have in recent years.
Which is what McNabb sees in the future for Vic. Penalty flag on the completion to L.J. Smith. And L.J. Smith with a good run down to the 44-yard line of the Atlanta Falcons, but there is a marker down. Would have been a 17-yard play to
Illegal
Smith.
shift on the offense. 2 men moving and not resetting. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Freddie Mitchell is going to reset himself, get up on the line of scrimmage, but never actually get set. You see the secondary move, and that is 2 men in motion and the penalty.
Yeah, and the only way it could have been legal would have been if L.J. Smith had come to a complete stop as well. Then it's fine. But because L.J. Smith was in motion when Freddie Mitchell moved, they drew the flag.
So that wipes away the 17-yard catch and run by L.J. Smith, brings up first down and 15. And hand it.
It's over.
Dorsey Levens. Chris Draft on the tackle, a gain of 4, and we haven't seen much of Brian Westbrook at this point. I mean, if that's the guy that the Atlanta Falcons were worried about coming into this game, Westbrook to this point, outside of that one long run, has not been a factor.
Yeah, but you can bet that as this game progresses, they're going to continue to want to try to get the ball into his hands. He's obviously one of the playmakers, but one thing we do know about Donovan McNabb, he does a great job of spreading the ball around. He's not going to get locked into just one guy.
Westbrook does not have a catch today. McNabb fires and the pass incomplete as his receiver Smith had fallen down. What Ed Donatel talked about was not only the threat of the run, but the way he moves around in the pocket and buys time for somebody to get open. McNabb in trouble, stays on his feet. Unbelievable. Throws, has a man, Mitchell. What a play. First down, Philadelphia. And that is the brilliance of Donovan McNabb.
Well, it really is, because Donovan McNabb does such a great job of just keeping himself alive. And so as he's getting pressure, he's able to avoid the sack, but he continually keeps looking downfield as to where he can get the ball thrown. He comes out of there, he's still not looking to run, and then he finds Freddie Mitchell on the sideline.
And Freddie Mitchell held on to the ball. When I saw it pop up like that, if he had bobbled that at all, it would have been incomplete, but somehow he kept it pinned in there.
First down inside Atlanta territory. McNabb going to air it out. Greg Lewis adjusts, makes the catch, and Lewis is down inside the 5. Working on Christian Morton. And a 45-yard completion into the wind, into the arms of Greg Lewis.
And sometimes you got to take shots like this because the wind actually helps Philadelphia in this situation. The wind gets a hold of it, it's underthrown. Greg Lewis sees it, he comes back, and he's able to make the play. The DB never gets turned to see the ball.
And the reason that Christian Morton is in the game is because of the ankle injury to Kevin Mathis, knocking him out of those nickel situations. And for the second straight week now, Greg Lewis with a huge play.
First and goal from the 4. Dorsey Levens. Levens to the 2.
You know, Troy, I really thought that the play that Greg Lewis made last week was a huge one in that game from the standpoint they kept trying to double team Westbrook, and so it left somebody on the field in one-on-one coverage, and the Falcons are trying to do the exact same thing. But when you get one-on-one with Lewis, he may well be the fastest guy on his football team.
And he's a much better receiver than what you would think, because he just hasn't gotten a lot of playing time. Most of his playing time came late in the season when they were resting a number of their starters, but during that time he's played well.
Alonzo Ephraim, number 76, is eligible. An extra tackle. McNabb back in the end zone. Lewis. Touchdown. So much for having trouble working into the wind.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Chad Lewis going to the corner. He had him right away. He floated this one a little bit. Did he get his feet in? One's in. The second is questionable.
I think you're going to get a challenge on that one.
We already got it.
I mean, usually when you tap that other toe, you see some dirt fly, and I'm not so sure the dirt was flying on that one.
No, I don't think he got it in, Chris. I think he got the left one down there, and then look at the right foot, and it looks like the right toe comes down on the white chalk.
There was something that flew up, but I think it was from his left foot and not his right foot.
Atlanta is challenging the ruling on the field. That was a touchdown.
A couple of questions when they look at a replay. The obvious one is, did he get that right foot down after the left foot was inbounds? Did he dot the I, so to speak, and get the toe of the right shoe down? It looks like from that angle and that replay that Lewis did.
Yeah, I agree. I think he did as well. It was a tremendous job by Chad Lewis getting that back foot down, and at the very least, I definitely don't think there's enough to overturn that play.
Yeah, that's the other question. Is there enough evidence to overturn the call, which was touchdown? We all think up here in the booth that the touchdown for Chad Lewis will stand.
Yeah, I think it will too, and there was nothing definitive to suggest that he did not get his feet in, and boy, Donovan made that a much tougher play than what it needed to be.
And that last angle that we had was really the definitive one, and in a championship game, obviously you have more camera angles than you do for a regular season game, and it's going to help the Eagles there.
After reviewing the play stands as called. Touchdown. Atlanta is charged with their second charge timeout.
So that makes it 13-3 with the extra point coming from David Akers.
Just a tremendous drive by the Philadelphia Eagles going into the win, hitting the big pass plays, and really eating up basically the whole quarter that the Atlanta Falcons had the win.
So Akers trying to make it 14-3. Now we'll see what kind of an answer the Atlanta Falcons have. Under 5 to play in this first half of the NFC Championship game, and the home team, the Philadelphia Eagles, lead by 11. David Akers will kick it into the wind. Allen Rossum is waiting deep for the Falcons. Pretty good kick by Akers, and Rossum from about the 6.5. Good return out to the 30. Now we'll see how the Falcons answer this young Atlanta team. As Jim Morris said all week, playing with the house's money. All the pressure on the Eagles. Now the pressure on the Falcons, down by 11. And a gain of 3 by Warrick Dunn. 2nd down and 7. Vick fires. The pass complete. He gets it to Peerless Price, his first catch of the day, a guy who during the regular season caught only 45 passes.
Yeah, and that's really what they have to do. They have to be able to create some chunks, whether that's Michael Vick running the football, creating some plays and knocking off some yards, or coming out here to your wide receivers. The wide receivers have not been a big part of this passing game throughout the year, but Peerless Price doing a good job there getting in the void, and Michael Vick finding him.
First catch by a Falcon wide receiver all day. On first down, it's done. It's Trotter. And nobody's motor's going any faster than Jeremiah Trotter, just like last week.
Well, Trotter played the best game of his football career a week ago, and he's following it up with another great one here today. That time they get some penetration inside. I believe that was Javon Curse. The offensive lineman tried to block him and had to leave Trotter alone. What do you say, Troy? Turn it back to your boy.
Turn it to your boy.
There you go.
He took care of it himself. 2nd down and 13. Atlanta with only 1 timeout left. Pass too high for Crumpler. And a penalty flag at the very end of the play. It was thrown by the referee, Bill Carollo.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, a blow to the face mask, 91. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Sam Rayburn.
Yeah, that's Sam Rayburn. You're going to take a look at what happened, and you know, you come in as a defensive lineman and you're trying to knock the ball down and you hit the helmet, and you know, obviously intent was not to injure, but that's the rules. That's what they've been calling. They've been consistent with it all season. You hate to see drives remain alive on those kinds of penalties.
Atlanta does it.
The Falcons love it. It's first down. from just outside the Philadelphia 40. Vick, little pump fake. Now over the middle. Crumpler, what a throw, what a hit, what a catch. Algie Crumpler hung on after getting a vicious blow from Brian Dawkins.
Boy, Algie Crumpler runs routes like a wide receiver, and he catches the ball like a bull. He took a huge shot at the end of that play by Dawkins. But watch the little double move now on Michael Lewis. Turn out, go right back up, and at regular speed, look at the clean hit by Brian Dawkins. Just a great shot. One of those, you'll think about that one later.
And I tell you what, Michael Vick did a heck of a job pumping to his right, getting the safety to move, and then being able to fit that ball in.
They could elect to let the game clock wind down to 2 minutes. Instead, they hand to Dunn. And Warrick Dunn is into the end zone. And what an answer by the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, that's just huge, Joe. Yeah, I talked about it a little bit earlier. You had to get some plays from your passing game. They come out on second down. They get the pass to Peerless Price. They get the big gain there to Algie Crumpler, and they come away with a touchdown here right before half.
Well, they've been hitting this stretch play all day long, and the linebackers have been catching this thing over the top. That time, Jeremiah Trotter tried to come back door on it, had to jump over one of the linemen and simply couldn't get there.
So with 2:02 remaining, Jay Feely will try to make it a 4-point game. And he drills it through. The point I was going to make is they reset the play clock. So if the Falcons wanted to let the play clock and the game clock wind down to the 2-minute warning, they could have let Crumpler go over, clear the cobwebs a little bit, then come back out for that first down play. Instead, they hand it to Warrick Dunn, and he just scoots right into the end zone.
Well, I tell you what, that is a huge drive for the Atlanta Falcons in this game. To get the ball with a little over 4 minutes in the first half, wind at your back, you're down 14-3, and to be able to move the ball down and be able to come away with a touchdown, that's huge.
And maybe most importantly is the fact that Michael Vick maybe gets a little confidence going right now, because they really didn't roll him out. They didn't do anything fancy. They propped him back in the pocket. And now if you establish that part of Michael Vick's game, a lot of other things start to open up.
Two of his best throws, Troy, the completion to Price, and then that beautiful throw to Crumpler, and how he hung on to that. It's amazing on a cold day to suffer that hit and make the catch was impressive.
You know, we came in here talking about these two quarterbacks, and so far neither has disappointed. These two guys among the very best that are playing the game right now.
You hear the foot hitting that cold football as Roderick Hood takes it on the return and gets it out to the 29-yard line, and that will bring us our 2-minute warning. Philadelphia with the ball, a 4-point lead starting at their own 29. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
All right, Joe, as we watch both quarterbacks handle the win, unlike his Atlanta counterpart, Donovan McNabb spent a good 20 to 25 minutes before the game checking out the win, just like he did on that long catch by Greg Lewis. He threw a bunch of deep balls into the wind earlier today, and he told me that he is not at all uncomfortable with the wind conditions. Back to you.
All right, Pam, thank you. Well, if the Eagles are able to get it down the field and make something happen, again, they're doing it into the wind. 1:54 remaining and 1 timeout left. McNabb hit, dropped, and that's Patrick Kearney. Kearney during the regular season earned his first trip to the Pro Bowl by racking up 13 sacks.
And what a great spin move that time by Patrick Kearney working against John Runyon. Watch this, just dip underneath. Remember, Runyon has the bad knee and had no chance against Kearney on that one.
I had a chance to talk to John Runyon before the game. He said the knee was a little stiff, a little sore. If that continues, he expects Andy Reid to provide him with a little help and protection.
Second down at 16 after the sack, and the Eagles hand off to Westbrook. Third and long coming up.
Well, I think I would have burned a timeout there for the Atlanta Falcons.
Third down and 7. McNabb is flushed out of the pocket. Kearney chasing. The pass complete to Westbrook. And Westbrook is going to be marked out. It looks just short of first down yardage.
And it looked like from here, Joe, that he may have gotten the first down. It may have been a poor spot.
Well, if it is under review, it will come from the booth.
Well, and remember, he's out of bounds, so the Falcons saved their last time out, and the Eagles would have to punt into the wind.
So McNabb gets it to Westbrook for Westbrook, his first catch. And now the question is, how good was the spot? And if there is a review, which there can be, it would be initiated from the booth.
And the chains that are on that side of the field are not the official chains. They're bringing those across the field now.
And they're there.
Ta-da.
So about 6-7 inches short, and there's no decision here for the Eagles. They will have to punt if there is no review, and we get a look at it from up above.
Big play in the ball game right now.
Atlanta gets the ball with one timeout, and depending on where they're able to return this ball to, if I'm the Eagles, I do not punt this anywhere near Allen Rossum.
On top of that, we've seen a Chris Moore punt going in this direction, travel all of 8 yards.
And I think Rossum's too deep here. I don't think he can kick it that far.
Pretty good try here by Johnson. It hangs up, and Rossum from inside the 25 has blocking. Had a huge week against St. Louis last week and gets it to the 35 with 21 seconds remaining and 1 timeout left for Atlanta as they trail by 4.
I tell you, the other advantage that Atlanta has when you got a guy like Michael Vick, Jim Moore told us last night he could throw it about 85 yards. So from here, they could potentially even take a shot as a Hail Mary as time runs out.
Wind chill 3 degrees down on the field. Vick has it batted into the air, incomplete. Let's go down to Chris Myers.
Yeah, Joe, Michael Vick has shown little emotion from the start of this game. The longer he was sitting on the bench, the cooler he was getting, or the colder. But he was up and hollering after that last defensive stop, cheering on the defense. It's gotten significantly colder and windier since the start of the game.
I have to tell you, one of the most impressive plays of this entire game so far was that punt by Dirk Johnson. He hit that thing 40 yards dead into the wind. That was really, really a big play.
We just heard from Chris, the wind has picked up. It's gotten colder. Corey Simon batted that last pass down. It's 2nd down and 10 with only 16 seconds remaining. Vick trying to buy some time. It'll go down. And that should just about assure that the score at halftime will be 14-10, and it will. So Jay Feely will get rid of it. And on the return, it'll be Reed and Hood waiting deep. This is Reed on the run. The rookie gets it across the 25, and they will mark him down at the 27. We look at the halftime statistics as the Philadelphia offense makes its way out onto the field. See the pass yards for the Eagles. The total yards tipped toward the Eagles' favor.
And I think maybe the most important statistic is that the Eagles have matched the Falcons in rushing yards. Clearly the way that Falcons thought they were going to win this game is running the football.
You see the weather. Temperature has dropped. The wind has died down a little bit as the Eagles hand to Westbrook. And Westbrook, who was the focus of this Falcons defense coming in on the day, carries it for 3.
Yeah, and I think that as far as what the Philadelphia Eagles have done offensively, they've broken away from what Andy Reid typically does. They ran the ball 12 times there in the first half. That carry there being their 13th rushing attempt to only 10 passes. And you know, you look back to last year's game, there was some criticism of Andy Reid for not running the football more against the Carolina Panthers. Maybe that's the intent here against this Falcons defense.
2nd down and 7 for Philadelphia. McNabb with plenty of time completes it to Westbrook, only his 2nd catch, and Westbrook is forced out by Stewart. They'll mark him across the 35, picked up 5, 3rd and short coming up.
Well, and we saw earlier the move that Patrick Kearney put on Runyon, the spin move. This time he's still one-on-one engaged with him, and John Runyon does a good job. Obviously that right knee, you see that it's heavily bandaged there, a real concern, but there's no way you're going to get John Runyon off the field.
Little blow to the head. John Runyon's always been known for taking a few shots here and there.
Yeah, this is actually his 15th playoff game, more than any active player in the league.
Play clock is already down to 4, down to 3. Just getting it away on 3rd down and 2 are the Eagles. McNabb being chased. McNabb, first down, Philadelphia. Rod Coleman couldn't get there, and Donovan McNabb gets 8 and a first down for the Eagles.
Well, they're trying to get Freddie Mitchell on a little pick play coming underneath, and it just didn't develop quickly enough for Donovan McNabb. And then he just does what he doesn't like to admit that he does very well. He talks about he wants to be a pocket passer, but I still think trying to defend this Philadelphia Eagles offense whenever he takes off and runs even a little bit is just so difficult.
And it's so demoralizing for a defense when you've got your receivers covered and then he's able to still pick up a first down with his legs.
McNabb airs it out. Coverage downfield. There's a flag on the play. Pinkston, the intended receiver. They're trying to pick on Christian Morton, who's a rookie out of Illinois. There's pressure on the play by Kearney, and there's a penalty flag that came in from the secondary.
And it's definitely going to be illegal contact. Christian Morton trying to survive back there in the secondary. They're rolling away and throwing all the way back to him.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact, 30, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So it was prior to the pass, so there's no pass interference. It's a 5-yard penalty, but a first down.
And the hard thing is for a rookie in college, that's no penalty. You know, that's just the way you play the game.
And then there's the hit. Patrick Kearney, he makes his presence felt, and he's able to get a hit on Donovan McNabb on the blind side. We saw John Runyon looking down. I don't know that necessarily on that play anyway. That was his man.
First down for Philadelphia, leading by 4. Pass complete, Levens. And Dorsey Levens gets 5.
You know, this is turning into a pretty good battle out here at right tackle. John Runyon again. Here's the spin move that Patrick Kearney used earlier and able to get the hit there on Donovan McNabb. He tries it again. He loses his footing, but John Runyon had a good base and didn't fall for the move.
Yeah, they are starting to get some openings down the field now.
2nd down and 6. That's Westbrook. And Westbrook has a Philadelphia first down. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, strain knee aside, if John Runyon continues to have trouble with defensive end Patrick Kearney, he has his division nemesis Michael Strahan to thank. I spoke with Kearney Saturday, and he acknowledged talking to Strahan this week to get some insight on how to play Runyon. Strahan said it's all about watching Runyon's feet. If his inside foot is up, he's blocking out. If the heel is down, it is just the opposite. Furthermore, Kearney also learned a few tips on Donovan McNabb and his tendencies with the snap count. Guys?
All right, thank you, Pam. Kearney, who would be working on Wall Street if not for football, doing a little research as Westbrook finds room to run. Westbrook bounces it outside and gets another Philadelphia first down. Kearney upfield. There were other Falcons there, and nobody could bring down Brian Westbrook.
Yeah, and when you get into a game like this, you have to make tackles. They had opportunities. Patrick Kearney right there had a chance to bring Westbrook to the ground, and you've got to stop him before he gets going. This is a back that can get to top speed in 2 or 3 steps. You've got to hit him in the backfield. You've got to get him on the ground. Otherwise, he reels off runs like that.
Well, that was pretty good stuff right there, wasn't it? That was a little Walter Payton, Marshall Faulk, just kept it alive, and big pickup.
Not a big guy, 5'10", 205, but a lot more powerful. And you may imagine they toss to Westbrook. And Brian Westbrook has another first down.
Yeah, we talk about Hank Fraley and you say Honey Buns and all that stuff, but Honey Buns can run. He got out on this play and is going to lead the way, and just at the last minute able to knock his guy to the ground, and there is the corner. Secured on the outside, and if they can start to get that outside running game going, those bootlegs and some of the things that McNabb likes to do really open up.
Brian Westbrook had only 6 touches in the football in the first half. He has 5 on this drive. And trying to get a touch here, he ends up putting it on the ground and is able to fall back on top of it. A loss of 5.
Yeah, and that one was just a miscommunication between Donovan McNabb and Brian Westbrook, and they're trying to run a counter trap here, and Donovan took it a little too far, or Brian Westbrook came up too far into the line, but they came up together, collided, and the ball's on the ground. Fortunate in order to get that one back.
And this is a big situation from the standpoint 3 versus 7. If the Falcons can get out of here with just 3, they have to feel great about it.
2nd down and 15. Play action from McNabb. They set up a screen for Westbrook. Westbrook got past Brooking and is brought down at the 13-yard line. Got 9. Corey Hall on the tackle.
You know, Chris, you talked just a minute ago about Hank Fraley. Watch him, the center, number 63. He's really good at screens because he moves around extremely well, especially once he gets out in space. Look at the job he does right there on D'Angelo Hall. That's a corner, and to be able to even get a body on an athletic corner like that really says a lot for the athleticism of Hank Fraley.
3rd down and 6. Playing with the wind are the Eagles. McNabb, plenty of time. Time runs out, and this is nearly picked off by Scott. In his hands and then down to the grass, and it'll bring up 4th down. Dorsey Levin's the intended receiver.
Well, and Donovan McNabb had all day to throw the ball, but he's trying to get to Pinkston, and Morton's just got him blanketed. He couldn't get any separation at all.
And on the other side, Freddie Mitchell was wide open. He just picked the wrong receiver. It was man coverage across the board. The quarterback can go to either side, and he really got away with one at the end, basically just throwing it up to Dorsey Levins.
31-yard try here by Akers. Good snap, good hold, the kick. Good. 7-point game, the field goal from 31 yards hit by David Akers. Brian Scott had an interception that was just sitting there for him, went up with one hand, couldn't haul it in. And Akers on the 4th down play hit the field goal. So it's 17-10, Philadelphia on top. 8:55 left, 3rd quarter, and Akers, at some point they're going to figure out that they're just going to have somebody hold.
It's not going to stay today.
For these kickoffs. I mean, every time they try and do it without somebody there, it blows off the tee. Rod Hood, the one who did it last time, and it looks like he'll try it again, and Rossum waits deep for Atlanta.
You know, and we probably didn't say enough about the opportunity that Brian Scott didn't take advantage of. I mean, when you get into games like this, championship games, you never know what play is going to change the outcome of the game, and when you get an opportunity, you've got to make the most of it. He had one there and failed to capitalize.
Hood doesn't look too excited about holding that ball on the tee. Rossum.
He can down it.
Downs it in the end zone. The Eagles lead by 7. 8:55 to go, 3rd quarter. Vick hands it to Dunn. Warwick Dunn. The little back cuts it up and picks up 6.
You know, you look at this Eagles defense and you see how they're going to play this. There are 10 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. The only guy that was deep was the middle safety. Obviously, they're expecting run, and they're doing everything that they can in order to stop that.
No team in the NFL had fewer receptions by their wide receivers or fewer yards by their wide receivers than the Falcons this year. And off to Dunn, who cuts it back up the middle and picks up a 1st down as he gets 7.
Well, that's the 2nd straight play now that we've seen. Remember all the stretch plays in the first half where they kept trying to get it to the edge, and they really never did the cutback very much. And neither one of those have been the full cutback plays, but they're now starting to look a little bit backdoor. And typically as defenses begin to tire, some of those opportunities become available.
1st down, Atlanta. Play action from Vick. Vick knocked down and sacked. Darwin Walker, Derek Burgess, and another example of this Philadelphia defensive front staying there in front of Michael Vick and giving him nowhere to go.
It becomes a chess match between Jim Johnson and then the offensive coordinator, Greg Knapp. That time, Jim Johnson played coverage. You see there, he's got 4 deep. And then he brought the pressure up front with his defensive line. Nowhere to throw the football for Vick, and the line got to him before he could get rid of it.
And Lito Shepherd just all over Peerless Price, and that's exactly what happened.
A loss of 9 as Burgess got Vick for the sack.
A gain of 3 here by Dunn, and the tackle made by Adams and Burgess.
But what you can't do against Jim Johnson teams is when you give up those sacks, now you're in 3rd and long situations. Now he can call anything. Michael Vick had time to get rid of the football on that last one, but he took the sack instead.
Yeah, and the only guy in the NFL this season that was sacked more times than Michael Vick was David Carr. So you leave yourself too many times where you have to overcome a lot of yards.
3rd down and 15. Eagles come on a blitz. Vick flips it to Jenkins, and he is brought down immediately by Brown. 4th down.
And when you talk about trying to move the football into the wind and try to maintain field position, the Philadelphia Eagles did an excellent job there of stopping Atlanta, and now they've got to punt into this wind. Philadelphia should have great field position after this play.
And I really do think the magic number is 7. If Atlanta can go into the 4th quarter with the win, down just 7, they'll have an excellent shot at this one.
3rd punt from Chris Moore. 2 guys waiting deep for Philadelphia, and Moore's punt hits that wall of wind and is touched at the 47. The elder Jim Mora up above watching his son coach the NFC Championship game. That Jim Mora, before he came to the New Orleans Saints in the NFL, won 2 titles in the USFL with the Philadelphia Stars. As Westbrook takes it, runs left, and he got nothing. 2nd down and 11 for Philadelphia. McNabb buys some time over the middle. Pass is complete. A gain of 14 to Westbrook, and there's no doubt, guys, that at halftime the decision was made to put the ball in the hands of Brian Westbrook.
And this is unbelievable what they do with Westbrook here. Take a look at him. He's in the backfield. He's going to swing wide, but then once he gets Matt Stewart running, then he comes back underneath. Initially, it looked like a 2-man route down the field, but it only happened because Donovan McNabb had so much time in the pocket.
And that's the point. They didn't get there in time and allowed that late breaking route to get out there.
On 1st down, McNabb fires it low and out of the reach of Levens. Westbrook is split out wide to the right at the bottom of the screen. They drop it off to Levens, who stumbles and is tapped down by D'Angelo Hall. Loss of 2.
Westbrook right out here in the slot.
3rd down and 12. McNabb brought down at the 40. That'll bring up 4th down. And there is a penalty flag on the play. As it stands now, it's 4th down and about 9. It's against Philadelphia, so it will be 4th down for the Eagles.
And I tell you, that's really a great job by this Atlanta Falcons.
Illegal
defense.
shift, offense, 2-man moving, not resetting. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
So Johnson will come on, and there's that hold by the Atlanta defense. Great effort by Brady Smith and company.
Great job by them not allowing the Eagles with great field position on that drive to get any points and still keep this ball game a 1-possession game.
Johnson punts it. Penalty flag on the play. And the ball is going to be tapped down inside the 10. But again, there's a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. 31-yard punt. We will check the marker.
Prior to the kick, holding 30, kicking team.
So you've got to make Philadelphia re-punt if you're Atlanta. That's J.R. Reed, the rookie.
And just
10-yard penalty, replay 4th down.
And just a huge break. Not only do you have a chance to now work it off your own goal line, but when you have a guy like Allen Rossum after the guys have already chased 1 kick back there, really, really dangerous. Here's a guy that was the fastest high schooler in the nation coming out his senior year, ran a 10 flat 100 meters, and if he gets in the open field, look out.
Well, we saw what he did last week to the Rams, the #2 punt returner in the National Football League this year, over 250 yards in return yards a week ago.
Line drive punt, and Rossum will let it bounce And it's down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. The Eagles and the Falcons battling for a trip to Jacksonville and Super Bowl 39. 17-10. The Eagles on top. Starting from their own 14. Open with a throw, and the pass picked off by Dawkins. Brian Dawkins with the interception. And Dawkins is down to the 10. Crumpler, the intended receiver, and Vick threw it right to Dawkins.
I couldn't tell if Michael Vick slipped on the play or not, but that was just horrendous. I mean, he had a chance to throw this one up over the top and just threw a line bullet. Nah, he just didn't see him. He never saw Brian Dawkins at all. Threw a shot right in his gut.
I tell you, Chris, it's almost as if he thought Crumpler was going to turn around right there, because otherwise there's no excuse for throwing a ball that flat. It was a good idea. Philadelphia again had 10 guys within 7 yards of the line of scrimmage. Take a shot down the field, but you got to get it up in the air.
4th career postseason interception for Dawkins. They marked him down at the 11 on the return, and this will cost Philadelphia 5 yards. But here's that opportunity, Troy, for the Eagles you talk about. All of the frustration of years past, you have an opportunity here.
Ball start, 72, offense, 5-yard penalty.
We go back to the interception.
Yeah, that's Brian Dawkins. He's on Crumpler, and I don't know what Michael Vick might have been thinking. The only reason you would throw a ball that flat is if you thought Algie Crumpler was going to turn around on some type of curl route or an out route. And if he's going to go over the top, then you have to throw the ball over the top.
I think the answer is he wasn't.
2 minutes, 56 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. McNabb to L.J. Smith. Incomplete pass. It's an incomplete pass. That'll bring up 2nd and 15.
Boy, and I tell you, this Eagles offense has a chance to put the dagger in right here, and they have been going backwards thus far. 2 straight mistakes, and really the best you can hope for right now is just a field goal attempt and try and get out of here 10 points down.
Yeah, and I think there's a big difference between being up 14 points and being up 10 points as it relates to the psyche and the approach then offensively for the Atlanta Falcons. If they're only down 10, I don't think they change what they want to do within the game.
2nd down and 15. McNabb, Mitchell. Mitchell, who had the big game last weekend against Minnesota on the reception, good for 7. And also, when you change what Atlanta then has to do offensively, plays right into the hands of Jim Johnson, the terrific defensive coordinator for the Eagles, who can just blitz Michael Vick from all different directions.
Well, you know what was strange about that last drive, and yeah, I think Troy makes a good point when they're up there stacking the line of scrimmage, but really 1 first down in that situation. If you can run for 1 first down, you're basically then playing the rest of the game with the win, and you put a lot of pressure on Philadelphia.
It's 3rd down and 8 here for the Eagles. McNabb gets hit from behind, and the ball is out. Donovan McNabb gets on top of it. Brady Smith came off the edge, knocked it out of the hand of McNabb, and it'll be 4th down for Philadelphia.
Well, you're going to watch Brady Smith. He's working against Trey Thomas, and he just uses a speed move and is able to come all the way around the backside because Donovan couldn't find anybody open. That is not on Trey Thomas. Donovan's got to know, especially down in the red zone, you cannot hang on to the ball. You don't have that kind of time.
He was trying to get it to Westbrook on that little crossing route, but he got picked off in the traffic and there was nowhere to go.
34-yard try from Akers, who was hit from 31, and this one is drilled. Dawkins set up the last 3 points on the interception of Michael Vick. Allen Rossum, a former Eagle, trying to make a dent in this game. Get a chance to return this. And Rossum is dragged down. Good play by L.J. Smith, a 25-yard return. And L.J. Smith made the tackle.
Well, I tell you what, David Akers came running over to the sidelines down on the ground. He took some kind of shot, Here he is running down on the kickoff. He might have got his nose.
Akers, a guy who likes to stick his head in there on tackles. Caught one up in the face. Minute 55 left, third quarter. Vick keeps it. McCrary, his fullback, is there. And Fred McCrary on the reception picks up 7. Adams on the tackle. Now they're calling that last play incomplete. The ball popped out before McCrary could make another football-related move after the grab. So an incomplete pass, and T.J. Duckett on 2nd and 10 picks up 4.
You know, Jeremiah Trotter had such a good game a week ago, and he's such a big part of what they're trying to do within their run defense. And McClure, the center for the Atlanta Falcons, told us that if Trotter gets up in the line, I'm going after his legs. Take a look at Trotter here, middle linebacker, number 54. And as he works in, you're going to see McClure try to go low on him. But Trotter does a good job of fending him off and then making the play.
Trotter with 8 tackles today. It's 3rd down and 6 for the Falcons. Vick pulls it back in and hits Finneran. Brian Finneran is into Philadelphia territory and out of bounds inside the 40 at the 39.
It really just looked like a busted coverage that time. They had Javon Curse in the joker position right over the middle of the ball, and for some reason he was drawn to the completely opposite side of the field, as was the entire defense. They thought it was a screen pass left, and instead they go to Finneran all the way back across the field the other way for a huge play.
This could be one of the final plays the Falcons have to run into the wind. On 1st down, they hand it to Duckett. Duckett hit by Walker and Adams. And if the Falcons choose to let the game clock run out, they can, and then play with the wind the entire 4th quarter.
And I think what we're seeing, Joe, from the Atlanta Falcons, when they've been able to create plays and move the football and score points, it's been because they've been able to make plays in the passing game. I think that's going to have to continue here into the 4th quarter, and Michael Vick's going to have to make some plays throwing the ball if they're going to be able to pull this thing out and win this game.
1 quarter to go. The Eagles in their 4th consecutive championship game have trailed after 3 quarters. The 3 games prior to this one, they lead it by 10. Vick pulled it back and fires it into the ground, trying to set up a screen for Dunn, and Vick ends up on the seat of his pants. It was pressure by Michael Lewis, and it's 3rd down for Atlanta.
Derek Burgess coming through. I know it was a screen pass, and typically you don't get that kind of pressure on a screen pass, but he just came screaming right for Michael Vick, and his entire purpose today, talking about Burgess, is to prevent that bootleg, and so those plays off the play action just not as effective as they may otherwise be.
3rd down and 10. Vick hands it. Dunn gets out of 1 tackle, can't get much. Warrick Dunn is brought down at the 38, picked up only 1. It's 4th down, and the Falcons will bring their punt team onto the field.
Chris, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, Jim Mora told us that they were going to run the ball in certain situations on 3rd down, but 3rd and 10, and where you're at on the field, I'm not so sure there that I'm not trying to throw the football.
You know, that time Todd McClure, the center, thought he could just give a shove to Darwin Walker and then release down the field, but when he did that, he allowed Walker to get back in there. That would have been a huge play.
You know, one of the things that the Falcons, by running the ball, were attempting to do was that if they could get a little more yardage out of that play and get in field goal range, but boy, it's asking a lot on that play in order to pick up about 8 yards.
They really had an opportunity to bust one out of there. Darwin Walker just saved the day. There was a gaping hole on that last one.
So Moore finally gets to punt with the wind, and in this case, he's trying to down it inside the 20. Instead, he booms it into the end zone, and that's a terrible punt for Atlanta. It's a 20-10 Philadelphia lead, just starting the 4th quarter, 13:59 left. And Donovan McNabb in his first 3 championship games compared to today. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 107. He was at 104 during the regular year. Have to come away impressed with this Atlanta defense, and they're asked to make another stop as Dorsey Levens gets it, picks up 4.
You know, one of the things defensive coordinator Ed Donatel prides himself on is being able to create turnovers. In fact, 14 interceptions in 14 of 17 games this season. They've yet to get one in this game.
2nd down and 6. McNabb throws left and over the head of Westbrook as that pass took off.
Well, they did a late move with Brian Westbrook outside and caught him in man coverage. Westbrook makes a tremendous move on the slant, and Donovan McNabb just lets it get away from him. He is just going to be wide open out here working against Morton, who's been the guy they've been after all day. Look at this move, wide open, and Donovan just sailed it.
That brings up 3rd and 6. They toss with McNabb blocking. Greg Lewis. Lewis has a 1st down for the Eagles. And it was McNabb as his lead blocker. Whatever it takes, it's a gain of 10.
Really nice design here on the play. They're going to run the tailback as though they're sweeping to him, and then the ball comes out to Greg Lewis. Underneath all of that, the flow of the defenders was to Brian Westbrook. Nobody out in front. You got Donovan McNabb just securing the edge, and then good blocking on the outside by Pinkston.
Remember what they were telling us, because they won so big last week against Minnesota. They had a few tricks left in their old play bag there, and they pulled one out there. Great call by Andy Reid.
Handoff is to Westbrook, who's been much more active in this 2nd half. Brian gets 4. This Philadelphia franchise won the NFL championship game in 48, 49, and 60. In 1980, they got to the Super Bowl, but lost Super Bowl 15 to Oakland. Head coach was Dick Vermeil back then. Now they're in their 4th consecutive NFC championship game. A brilliantly run organization, but this round has been the end of their season for the last 3 years. A loss at St. Louis, back-to-back losses at home to Tampa Bay and Carolina. They lead by 10 here with 11:53 left. McNabb with all day fires, and it's incomplete. Levens was covered by Brooking. 3rd and 6.
Yeah, and this time Donovan McNabb, they try a double move on the outside with Brian Westbrook, and the defense doesn't bite. Donovan just is trying to get rid of the football and make a completion. Here's the look on the outside. D'Angelo Hall stays over the top. And I got to go back to what Terry Bradshaw said at halftime, and he said that in his mind, Andy Reid had gotten conservative in other championship games. Well, he certainly hasn't gotten conservative here. He's still trying to take his shots down the field.
3rd down and 6. McNabb throws, and it's incomplete. L.J. Smith, the intended receiver, and another very good job by this Atlanta defense.
Now, this defense done a good job of keeping this team in the game, and it looked to me, Chris, like Donovan may have had a shot there, a ball again that just got away from him.
Yeah, I think at the last second he saw the cornerback on the outside and knew that if he let his inside receiver out there, he might get it picked, and just basically threw it in the dirt.
That drive only took 2 minutes and 19 seconds off the clock. Good punt by Johnson. Punting into the wind, he gets off his 2nd good one of the day. And Rossum is out of bounds at the 30. 11:29 left, 4th quarter, 10-point Philadelphia lead. Vick, done out of the backfield, had to leap to get it, and he's out of bounds, knocked out by Adams, a gain of 3 down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Joe, as the 2nd half progresses, and with each and every success it has against Michael Vick and company, the Eagles' defense is getting sky high. They've been talking about playing loose all week, and that group has been that way the whole game. After that last trip off the field, Hollis Thomas took some time to complain about some dirt in his Gatorade. But on a more serious note, everyone seems to be encouraging each other just to finish the job.
All right, Pam, thanks. 3 sacks today of Michael Vick for this Philadelphia defense as Vick keeps it. Burgess in his way, and Burgess makes a fantastic play. The 4th sack of the day for this Philadelphia defense.
Well, they have basically been forced because Javon Curse is on the other side of the field. The defensive move Jim Johnson made, they're going to put Derek Burgess on the backside. And because they haven't been able to hurt him with that cutback run, Burgess and Curse on the bootleg has been able to sit out there and make those plays time after time.
Well, they got Burgess early in the game the first time they ran the boot his way, but since that time he's shown great discipline in making plays and not allowing Vic to make the corner.
3rd down and 11. Vic fires it and the pass incomplete. Peerless Price. And it was Lito Shepherd who got his hand in there.
And Peerless Price has to come back to that football. He had a chance for that first down. Just not a very disciplined route. When you go down there, you have to stop and drive back on the football. Lito Shepherd did, but Peerless Price did not. Down at the bottom of your screen, he's going to sit and wait on the ball, and Shepherd's simply going to break in front of him. That should have been first down Falcons.
This Philadelphia defense has played better in this NFC Championship game. Coming in the 3 previous games, the defense only 1 takeaway and a sack. They have a takeaway today on the Dawkins interception and 4 sacks of Michael Vick. On the return, it's Mahe. The crowd wants to take over now. And the Eagles in their offensive huddle telling everybody to quiet down. It's going to be hard for these Philadelphia sports fans to quiet down.
They've been waiting a long time, Joe.
I'll say.
A lot of pent-up frustration in this building.
But still plenty of time left for the Atlanta Falcons, but they need another defensive stop. They hand to Westbrook on the reverse or an end around, and he was met first by Smith, a gain of only 2. The last major pro sports championship for this city of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia 76ers finishing off a 4-game sweep with the Lakers on May 31st, 1983. Since then, the Flyers have been in the Stanley Cup Finals 3 times, haven't won. The Phillies have been in 2 World Series, including '83, haven't won. And the Eagles have not been to the Super Bowl. They're trying to stamp their ticket with a win here tonight against Atlanta. McNabb under pressure. Smith chasing him. McNabb's going to run. And Donovan McNabb scoots out of bounds at the 43, picked up 6. 3rd down coming up.
And you just sense, watching the way that this defense for the Eagles has played, particularly on that last possession, and the way that this crowd's beginning to get into it, that this becomes a very, very critical 3rd down. The Eagles have to be able to stop them here.
And I don't think it had to be. I thought McNabb had a chance to pick up this first down. At this point in the ball game and all the things that McNabb has been through, you got to put your head down and go pick up that first down.
Instead, it's 3rd and 2. McNabb over the middle, guns it, complete, first down. Chad Lewis, who has a touchdown today, and a first down at the Atlanta 45. Atlanta Falcons defense needs a takeaway. Westbrook bouncing it outside, cuts it up and picks up 1. Ryan Scott on the tackle. 2nd down and 9. A balanced attack for Andy Reid. The throw on 2nd and 9, incomplete. Lewis, and they do throw a flag. Chris Draft, the middle linebacker, was in there and may be called for pass interference. Flag came in late.
Pass interference, 54. Defense, hooked him around the waist. Automatic first down, spot of the foul.
Yeah, pretty easy call there for the officials. Chris Draft all over Chad Lewis when the ball arrived. And what you're starting to see now from the Falcons is they're not known as a blitzing team, but we're starting to see more of it, and rightfully so. They know that if they're going to have any chance, they've got to create some kind of turnover and stop Philadelphia and not allow them to come away with any more points.
That is the 4th first down by penalty for the Eagles today. 7.5 to go. McNabb. Lewis. Greg Lewis out of bounds at the 20. Forced out by Hall. And Lewis on a long list of players that the Eagles have locked up to a long-term deal, and he has stepped up today.
Donovan McNabb knows he's got one here. It is a first down pass. They go play action. Greg Lewis coming in short motion against man coverage. You really have no choice at this point in the game. You have to start playing man coverage. Like Troy said, bring to some pressure. And Greg Lewis just can't be covered in man coverage right now.
Well, not a difficult route to cover. D'Angelo Hall thought he was going to go back outside. He slow played it. Greg Lewis ran away from him.
Toss to Westbrook. Hall the first to get his hands on him. Lavallee helped out on the tackle, a gain of 1.
I got to tell you, though, I really like what Andy Reid's doing. I think a lot of coaches in this league up 10 points in the NFC Championship game would be so concerned with trying to run out the clock and then play to your defense if you don't get the first down and not throw the ball. I've been impressed with the way that he has remained aggressive. He's continued to play his style of football, and that's what's got him to this point.
Well, we've seen conservative play so far in the playoffs cost a couple of teams games, talking about the Jets and the Chargers.
Second down and 9. Hand off to Westbrook. He's been busy. Brian Westbrook. Upended by Aaron Beasley after a gain of 5.
That shows you a little bit right there about the smarts of Brian Westbrook in a situation like this in the fourth quarter, running out towards the edge, and instead of taking it out of bounds, as a lot of running backs would do, tried cutting it back up, kept the clock running.
Brian Westbrook, with the loss of Terrell Owens, basically had to fill those shoes and then some. And this young man has just played sensational football in the playoffs.
Third down and 4. McNabb, is he going to run for it? Donovan McNabb with a first down for the Eagles.
There you go. Put his head down that time and was going to get it. And he wants the crowd to give him a little more applause than that. He's beginning to think this is about to happen. They're about to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, we talked a little bit earlier about these fans have been waiting a long time. Donovan McNabb's been waiting a long time, too.
He may explode himself, and Mama might explode, too. A touchdown, the ball game's over. A field goal, it is not.
First and goal. Westbrook down to the 7. Brooking on the tackle, a gain of only 1.
You can just feel this crowd just about to break loose.
Second down and goal. McNabb rolls, throws. Westbrook down to the 2. Third and goal.
Well, for the Philadelphia Eagles, now one play away, and Jeffrey Lurie knows it. If they can convert this into a touchdown, you're going to see pandemonium in a stadium like maybe you've never seen it before.
They flipped the Brian Westbrook switch at halftime. Only 6 touches in the first half. 14 in this second half. 10 carries, 4 catches, and a total of 79 yards. Third and goal. Play action. Lewis. Touchdown, and they will celebrate. Chad Lewis with his second touchdown catch of the day, capping an 11-play drive that takes nearly 7 minutes off the clock. Akers for the extra point. It's a 17-point lead. And as we come back to the booth, you throw it out there, you look back on this season, the Philadelphia Eagles were the best team in the NFC. They were the #1 seed. They rested their players down the stretch. Reed took on the criticism for that, and they have really played well this postseason. It looks like they're finally over the hump.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, I know that they've done it without a guy who really helped them throughout the season, and that guy being Terrell Owens. But I think the fact that they were able to go out here today and play the way that they have in what appears to be a victory and do it without Terrell Owens, I think validates a lot of these current players that are on this team.
And I think it makes it even more special for Donovan McNabb, you know, because there was so much credit given to Terrell Owens, and basically his thought was, hey, you know, you guys forget we ran this offense before. We were pretty good. But I just can't help but think back to Steve Young. And when he did the whole thing about taking the monkey off of his back because of all the Super Bowls that Joe Montana had won. And for Donovan McNabb, it has to be that same feeling right now that finally that monkey's been lifted off his back and he's going to the Super Bowl.
He was 3 for 3 on that last drive on 3rd down. Overall, the Eagles today 7 of 13 on 3rd down. So when he's had to make a play, Donovan McNabb, who during the week said, throw it all on my shoulders, I'll take on all the pressure. He has stepped up and done it for the Eagles this evening.
He's been a great leader for this team, Joe, not just this week, not just this season, but throughout his entire career. And it's nice to see good people do well.
Meanwhile, the Falcons trying to have some hope. Have Rossum throw it. D'Angelo Hall eventually on the return out to the 25. Tammy Reed, wife of Andy Reid, who has more wins as a head coach than any other head coach in Philadelphia Eagles history. Vick under pressure throws, and it's nearly picked off by Sheldon Brown. Pressure by Burgess, who's had a very good night.
Yeah, they really have. And I think the story of this game has been Philadelphia's ability to stop the run. And Troy, maybe especially on 1st down, because they put the ball in Mike Vick's hands and forced them to do something they're not really comfortable doing, and that's dropping back and throwing the ball. And when you do that against Jim Johnson, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and what did Jim Johnson tell us yesterday? He said, hey, the teams that have had success are teams that run well and tackle well against this Atlanta offense, and that's exactly what they've done here today.
After rushing for 327 yards a week ago at home against St. Louis, as Jenkins can't haul it in, and he gets a hit for Brown. There's Ron Jaworski, longtime quarterback here in Philadelphia, all smiles. Atlanta today has rushed for only a total of 99 yards, 3.8 a carry.
Yeah, and I think that as we give kudos to the players and what they've accomplished and what they've been able to do this season, you know, we also need to give credit to this coaching staff and Andy Reid and Jim Johnson and Brad Childers, because they've done a terrific job in this game getting their team prepared to play.
3rd down and 10. Vick fires, completes it. Des White, he is out of bounds after a gain of 8. That'll bring up 4th down, and Freddie Mitchell, who showed up at the stadium and somehow has had his hair stay in that configuration under his helmet all afternoon and evening, has got it tight on the sides and a mohawk, letting it fly up top.
You know, it's just not like Freddie to draw attention to himself like that.
Not at all.
Come on, UCLA, what do you got to say for yourself?
I'm a little disappointed in Fred right now.
He's having fun.
He had fun last week at the expense of the Minnesota Vikings. 4th down and 2. Vick trying to throw for the 1st down, completes it to Price. And Peerless Price has a 1st down at the Philadelphia 45. That was good for 22 yards. You know, while we talk about Jeffrey Lurie and we talk about the Eagles, how about the job on the other sideline by Jim Mora in his 1st year? And you have to look at this Atlanta Falcons franchise. It's only going to get better from here on as Vick grows in this offense.
Well, I think that was the key. This is his 1st year in this offense, and Donovan McNabb said, you know, I see a lot of myself in him and some of the things that he does within this passing game.
That's an incomplete pass as it came out of the hand of Vick, but his arm was going forward. 2nd and 10 with 2:12 left.
Yeah, as we take a look here at Donovan McNabb, I can tell you from personal experience that when this game ends and he goes into the locker room, and they celebrate, and they talk about what a great opportunity they now have to go on to Jacksonville and try to win a Super Bowl. Reality sets in a very short period of time, and you realize that now you have to go win that game. It's not enough just getting to the Super Bowl. You've got to go now win that one.
2nd down and 10. Vick throws down the middle of the field, and it's incomplete, as the crowd was looking for a pass interference call on Michael Jenkins, with Dawkins waiting for his 2nd interception of the game.
Yeah, I think Dawkins was hoping for a pass interference as well, but if Dawkins works back to the ball right here as if he were a receiver, it would have been a very easy interception. Instead, he waited for the ball, but very easily could have been pass interference on Michael Jenkins.
I thought it was a pretty good call, though. Pretty good no call. Jenkins came back and got around him and really didn't make major contact before that ball got there.
I guess that just kind of shows you a little bit about Brian Dawkins, the fact that he's still playing as if it's a 10-10 ball game here with 2 minutes left.
3rd down and 10. And that play didn't happen. The play clock right now is on 00.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
They'll put the seconds back on the clock.
And not lost on anyone in this game the fact that Donovan McNabb is now going to have just a 2nd opportunity for an African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl game, and history is not lost on him. He said, oh yeah, I've thought about that a lot. I was about 10, 11 years old when Doug Williams won that Super Bowl, and when I was watching it, he said, I now know I have a chance to play quarterback in the National Football League.
Coming up on the 2-minute warning, Vick, who does not have a rushing yard this entire 2nd half, completes it. Gets it to Crumpler. And right now the Falcons are faced with a 4th down. 4th and 8. Vick throws incomplete, and the Eagles will take over. A minute 47 remaining. And the reaction from the Philadelphia Eagles bench.
You know what? Those guys have earned that. Took a lot of criticism, from myself included, in the championship game a season ago. Coming out here without Terrell Owens, all the question marks. Could they get it done? And we've seen big plays throughout from this wide receiver core. Greg Lewis maybe the biggest surprise. Freddie Mitchell getting it done. Todd Pinkston making plays. But nobody has made more plays during the playoffs than that guy right there. And look out now.
And there will not be a better minute and 47 seconds left in a game in Donovan McNabb's career. To be able to take this snap and just take a knee, knowing that you're going to a Super Bowl, it's the greatest feeling in the world.
Look out, Andy. May not be the best minute and 47 seconds for Andy Reid when he gets with his bucket of Gatorade.
Butch will take care of him. That's why they bring Butch.
There you go.
Butch on Andy's right. There's a reason Andy Reid is one of the highest paid coaches in the NFL, why Jim Johnson is one of the highest paid coordinators. They have prepared this team with Brad Childress, and Reid gets his bath.
We've been waiting a long time for that bath. What a good man he is, you know. Just truly one of the great people in this game. Both he and Jim Johnson, and kind of exciting to see him finally get his trip to the Super Bowl.
Only one more snap will be necessary. And after 3 years of January frustration, let freedom ring, Philadelphia. The Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the 2004 Philadelphia Eagles. They are champions of the NFC.